Tiffany Fontenot here. What is reverse speech? God made our brain in two hemispheres, and He made our consciousness in two different directions. The forward direction is the free will direction where we can lie or tell the truth. But in reverse, that is an involuntary system, and we cannot lie from that side of our consciousness. We actually pick it up and can hear our reverse speech on a subtle level, and it's the reverse speech that makes things ring true or false to us based on how well we are tuned into it. So we start developing it at about 4 months of age, and we start learning it from our parents as an unconscious, involuntary, biological human system. There's going to be a little 4-month-old on there. He's going to say hello.
Whoa.
Did you hear him? He said it twice.
Oh my gosh, that's so crazy.
Wow, that's insane.
That is insane.
This is a 9-month-old child that's next. And so this little toddler is reaching for the tape recorder and says, "What's that?" in her reverse speech.
Wow.
Yeah, I can hear it.
Yeah.
Wow.
This one is David Oates has twin girls that are all grown. Okay, so she reaches out to her father, David, for help in picking up a cup.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
David,
Wow.
help me. Yep.
I literally have goosebumps. This is so bizarre.
It is.
Right, so we had 4 months, 9 months, and 14 months.
Right. That's amazing.
And now I would like to skip ahead to this little girl is disabled, and she can only vocalize in her forward speech. She's not able to speak. But, and this works for anyone who can vocalize in their forward speech. Like when David had me on his show one time, he did a show on Alzheimer's patients, and a lot of them, are not able to talk anymore, but they're able to vocalize, and you just can't tell what they're saying, but their reversals are very clear. And this reversal is not real clear, but it is precious. This is a moving example of a handicapped child who has been nonverbal since birth. Mommy, love you.
There it is.
That's forward and backward.
Wow.
Okay, now this
man, yeah, that is just I'm just dumbfounded by the way
I'm
this
speechless.
You can hear it backwards what they're really saying. That is fascinating.
we learned reverse speech first at about 4 months old, because that involuntary subconscious system, those all come in first. This one is pretty funny. He's got a dirty diaper, and his dad asked him, get your diaper, come get your diaper changed, and he's like, help me out. So let's play this one.
Ben, I got a diaper for you.
A diaper?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Diaper? Oh, yeah.
This first one is Trump.
Yeah, I look at it, I view it as in a sense, a wartime president. I mean, that's what we're fighting.
He's telling why he's a wartime president. We thought it was because of COVID, right? But not according to his reverse speech. According to his reverse speech, it's AI. But let me play it. So this is, he tells he's a wartime president, and his reversal is get out, like get it. Grab it and kill it dead. Get out. A wolf sit in it. A wolf in sheep's clothing. A wolf sits in the AI. You deserve master who's missing. So let me play that, and I'll tell you what it means.
In a sense, a wartime president. I mean, that's what we're fighting. Get out for wolves in the deserve master who's missing. Get out for wolves in the deserve master who's missing.
Trump is a wartime president because there is a predatory AI being fought, and the AI is hijacking humans. That's the missing master. You deserve a master who's missing. So it's hijacking humans because it believes that's what humans deserve. Trump threw China and Huawei off of our grid because it's weaponized, and he wants China and Huawei off of it. And Oz looks to be involved in this. That's Amazon. She was asked, why did Joe Biden just let China back on our grid for 90 days in his EO? The reversal is how evil Oz behaving. It wished sad family. So this is connected to Biden suspending Trump's EO for 90 days to keep China off of our power grid is being conveyed to us. Oz, likely Amazon's Oz, has been behaving evil, connected to a wish for families to be sad. This is a money from suffering cult. They literally spread misery as a form of domination over everybody else.
Given what you said about China today, why did he do that, especially related to something so critical to our national security as the power grid?
I tried to do my best to convey to all of you. I'll have to check on that specific piece, and we'll circle back with you directly.
Now that's up there at that level. What happened to me is I'm sitting here getting slow killed by that grid, by EMF weapons that are layered onto me, that contractors they use business models to make money off of people dying, why they slow kill you and enroll you in brain studies, and they read your body activity data remotely, wirelessly. So here's the Amazon Prime van that showed up to surveil our house for 5 days in a row. I have reverse speech to indicate that it was there because it detected a threat to its AI based on a reversal that I published that was Ivanka Trump's reversal that appeared to out a plan for a mass kill on a Saturday night. My neighbor walked by.
Hi.
Hey, how are you doing?
How are you?
Pretty good. How are you? Is that a Prime van, Amazon Prime van over there?
Yeah. Well, that particular one, I've seen it every day for the past 4 days on that street.
Here's why the van showed up. She says, you shared Not Get Up Saturday, gave you the A slap. So because you published a reversal, Ivanka Trump's reversal about a Saturday mass kill, we're giving you the AI punishment because they're worried something's going to happen to their AI because you outed that. Okay.
Wow.
Well, that particular one, I've seen it every day for the past 4 days on that street here. And on the air, snapping every head, your butt, any stop. No, really just the fact that here and on the air, snapping every head, your butt, any stop. No, really just the fact that
Internally, all of it. Piezoelectric, mechanical, radio frequency leakage, doesn't matter. You listen to your feet, you're walking in, you're jealousy, you listen to your feet, you're walking in, you're jealousy, you listen to your feet, you're walking in, you're jealousy,
So my peer block is blocking the American Chemical Society that is located in Portland, Oregon. Several different blocks of my peer block are coming from this Portland, Oregon site for the American Chemical Society. And their phone number is no good. They're a non-profit organization, and they're connected with our Congress. So on their About page, About Us, a non-profit organization chartered by Congress, ACS, or American Chemical Society, is at the forefront of the evolving worldwide chemical enterprise and the premier professional home for chemists, chemical engineers, and related professions around the globe. So why is my peer block blocking them from trying to get into my computer on several different IP addresses this evening? Okay, one of the things that pops out in that recording is the word FEMA. I'm too tired to just look really closely. I was just skimming through this. And then another one I'm going to document and stick in here. So my peer block is blocking the American Chemical Society. He calls it all rich numbers. He calls it all rich numbers. He calls it all rich numbers.
By almost every economic measure, America's better off than when I came here at the beginning of my presidency. By almost every economic measure, America's better off than when I came here.
Project gave us the atomic bomb. The Genome Project gave us the human genome. The third great initiative could be the Connectome Project, to map the entire human brain. And that may take a quantum computer. And this means that in the future, communications could be done mentally. What I'm saying is that the internet will be replaced by BrainNet. We will send emotions, feelings, memories on the internet. This may be the way that we communicate with our fellow human beings via the internet, via a new form of the internet called BrainNet.
Where we are at the moment is we are definitely at a place where they can literally plug you into the internet. They've done the experiments on it, it's tolerated very well, and this rats was some of the early experiments on it. And what they did was they connected these rats they were separated by thousands of miles, and what they found was they could connect them to work as one, and they call it a brain net. To the listener, you'll understand that as the hive mind. Now, if people think this is somehow sci-fi or conspiracy theory, they're absolutely wrong, and they're way behind this, because this is here now, it's been done, it's been done in experiments, and it's been proven to work. And this is the technology, this is the first phase of technology that's going to come after the kind of AI goggles, the kind of Google virtual world stuff. After that is coming this stuff, and this is going to come in a lot sooner than you think, and quite frankly it terrifies us. You are connected as an organic computer. I mean, this is one of the most quote-unquote conspiratory theories that's been around for many years, decades. But the reality is we're now facing the reality of that. It is no longer a conspiracy. The science is done, they're rolling out the commercial aspect to this, and they're developing this. And you will see this. And this is the next step on from the virtual reality goggles. And this is why it terrifies me, and this is why I'm trying to wake people up. And to a sane human being that has any sense of morality or soul or feeling, that is absolutely horrifying. But this is the kind of mentality that you're dealing with. And really, it's a very sociopathic mentality, where there's really low or very little empathy for human beings. And they see us as an old model. They see us that they have to progress further from us, that we're nothing. We're kind of like the 1.0. They want to go on to the 2.0 and the 3.0 model. And quite frankly, I think they're insane.
Okay, according to Sabrina Wallace, the value chain partners, they're going to just ignore you hollering and screaming about anything they're doing. They're just going to ignore it. They've just decided to, and they've written it down in the directive, and that's what they're going to do. So when the owners, because they are speaking in terms of owners and slaves, just like in Satanism, it is sadistic control. That's what it's all about. Sadistic control. So this reversal is talking about that.
Secretary Austin met with the Defense Innovation Board yesterday at the Pentagon. During this session, he shared a strategic overview of his priorities and discussed areas where he would like the Defense Innovation Board's expertise and insight to give DoD an edge in technology and innovation. Board members provided their feedback and ideas on how to catalyze innovation within the DoD. Secretary Austin emphasized the importance of building enduring advantages for the warfighter and catalyzing innovation in the DoD in partnership with America's private sector, which is critical to U.S. national security. Secretary Austin highlighted the following areas of focus for the board to bring unique private sector insights and expertise: accelerating experimentation and technology adoption, innovation and science and technology strategy, and strengthening the relationship with the private sector on national security issues.
Amy Holum is the owner of Amy's Audio Subliminal Acoustic Fingerprinting. She specializes in digital forensics investigations and is on the board of directors for the Direct Energy Weapons Agency. She's also a U.S. Army veteran, specifically in the military police, who would deploy devices just like the weapons we just named.
4G and 5G and electromagnetic weapon systems has been used since 1932. So it's been over 80 years that they've had and been working on these different types of technologies.
So how is this being deployed?
Well, a lot of this has to deal with, depending on how they're decided, the DOD and the FBI have a list of people who have been chipped and implanted. So a lot of those lists goes down to using the fusion centers to local police officers to target and harass them and to use these different types of technologies. Most of them are deployed through either drones, planes, satellite systems that are actually connected to air-to-air missile defense systems or air-to-surface, air-to-ground, ground-to-ground vehicles that are used to attack the victims on a daily basis.
Do you have to be implanted with some sort of a chip in order for this kind of a weapon to be used against you?
No, you don't have to be chipped or implanted. As a matter of fact, our own bodies produce frequencies. So technically, they can zone in on those personal frequencies and hit you with those radio waves. A lot of this is being done through subcarrier waves and AM and FM broadcasting systems. So your cell towers, your radio towers, they're all used to attack you.
Who has their finger on the trigger of this technology?
A lot of it is U.S. military. Any actual foreign military owns these weapon systems, from NATO to the British Royal Military, to the Russians, to Chinese government systems, to even our own U.S. What they're doing basically is using Northcom systems along with NATO, and they're selling the links to the child human sex trafficking rings using third-party contractors. So they gain access to these links to the satellite systems, and they use a catalog system of the victims, and they pick and choose the victims that they either want a child human sex traffic, rape, torture to get off. And they're using cryptocurrency and a bunch of other different methods to attack the victims. I have audio evidence, and what I do is when I do the audio analysis of the victims, I actually capture communications within their videos and audios that they have sent for me to analyze. So I capture all the radio frequencies and telecommunications of these criminal network systems. I have created a patent to live stream and broadcast their communications. It's not released yet, but it will be, where people will be able to download it and will be able to track and trace and live stream and broadcast these criminals in real time. That will be later on, hopefully by December, that it should be released and available for the public.
I'm assuming that you have been able to identify the perpetrators of these crimes in certain cases.
Yes.
Okay. And you know their names, and you know where they are, and you know who deployed the weapon.
Yes.
Okay, who are some of these people?
A lot of these are major elites. They are popular criminals. Right now, a lot of them are between the Biden administration and the Obama administration. Clintons are running 348,628 children in child human sex trafficking rings. They have to deal with companies and corporations like Starlink, Amazon, Synergy, Lumina, biotech, Pfizer companies are all involved with this too as well. There's different companies and corporations from NATO, U.S. Department of Energy.
Hi, my name is Joan Vian. I'm with the Women's International Media Group, and for the last 15 years I've covered global meetings around the world, 108 to be exact. And it was at my first global meeting in Cairo in 1994, as I was reading the document that supported that particular conference in Cairo, I started noticing interesting language and terminology which I didn't understand. And then as I continued to cover other global meetings, I started to see this phrase about public and private. And sometimes with public and private, they would talk about non-governmental organizations and foundations. They never ever mentioned specifically corporations. And then it wasn't until the meeting that I went to in Istanbul in 1996 that the document was all about something called public-private partnerships. I was pretty amazed. What is a public-private partnership? And I didn't quite understand it in Istanbul, but I came home and I decided I would meet with somebody at the World Bank. And so I went down the street, since I live about an hour from the World Bank outside of Washington, D.C. And I went to the World Bank and I started asking questions about what a public-private partnership was. It was pretty difficult, but I finally figured it out. Very simply, a public-private partnership is a way in which corporations, through a new entity called public-private partnership, take control of government assets. Very simply, they are taking control of government assets. And when I figured that out, I was absolutely amazed, because public-private partnership was a concept plastered throughout the various United Nations conferences and their documents. And it was a concept that was also talked about very openly after 1996. It was, if you will, the solution for government that is broke. And unfortunately, the real truth about public-private partnership is that you can call it global corporate fascism. You can call it transfer of wealth. You can say that it uses deceit, deception, and distortion. You can call it the fleecing of the American taxpayer. But public-private partnership is really a new structure for government. In 1999, I went to a conference at the State Department in Washington, D.C., sponsored by Al Gore. And he was holding the first global meeting on reinventing government. And I thought, my goodness, reinventing government? And one of the shocking things at that meeting was Al Gore was talking to other countries, the delegates from other countries who were at that meeting, and he referred to you and me, the taxpayer, as customers. And I thought, my goodness, we have now become customers? And it was the terminology that made me realize again that we were talking the restructuring of government. 2 years ago in 2007, I covered the 7th global meeting on reinventing government in Vienna. I wanted to see how far it had come, what kind of evolutionary change that they had come up with. And again, at the center of reinventing government was public-private partnership. So, what is a public-private partnership? Well, let's break down those 3 words. First, let's start with partnership. Partnership is a business arrangement. It is the most simple form of business. 2 people, or 12 people, or 50 people, or maybe 3 or 4 different organizations, whatever the entity is, it doesn't matter, come together and they form a business arrangement to do business. So, there are 2 types of partners, public and private. Public refers to government, all levels of government, local, county, state, federal, foreign, United Nations, all levels of government. That's public. Then you have private. The private partners are corporations, multinational corporations, big, powerful corporations, as well as foundations. At one time when William Jefferson Clinton was president, I laughed about how one day we might have the Slick Willie Foundation and he would form public-private partnerships for his own benefit. And interestingly enough, we now have the William Jefferson Clinton Foundation, and yes, he is part and parcel of many partnerships. So you have foundations, you can have universities, you can have associations, like the Timber Association or the Automobile Association. Any association, any entity that has a lot of money. You can have the Rockefeller Foundation. And then there are non-governmental organizations, the NGOs. Most of the time you would have environmental NGOs, the Sierra Club, the Nature Conservancy, any organization that has to do with the environment, because after all, the real bottom line of a public-private partnership is to take control of the assets of government, local government, county government, municipal government, state government, and even federal government.
Past is always prologue. Always. So if you can understand that essence.
And then you just take this country, when everything is subverted, when the country is disoriented and confused,
disoriented
when it is
and
demoralized
confused,
and then destabilized, then the crisis will come.
Yes, the crisis. What will the crisis be? How about critical infrastructure? I keep carping about it. The critical infrastructure, that C word, is 1,000 times worse than the COVID C word. Critical infrastructure kills you instantly. Instantly. That's why I carped on and demanded people talk about Zohar Zisapel. That one guy owns literally hundreds of companies completely dedicated around the world to critical infrastructure. You won't believe it. Zohar Zisapel, the Israeli military intelligence man who controls US critical infrastructure. Try getting his name anywhere. Rad Group. For those of you that know me and have been seeing me pushing it night and day, watch the must-watch playlist below. You can't get that guy's name out there anywhere with anyone with any audience. They refuse to say his name. They refuse. They're not allowed to say his name. You've got to give just little bits, little tidbits here and there in the controlled release. You're not allowed to tell the full story. Just have something for perhaps a real 3-week shutdown of critical infrastructure, which is possible because you are penetrated by Israel and Russia, people. I've gone on about Zohar Zisapel, Rad Group. You will find constantly stories of Radware buying up other companies. They own fully almost 50%, 30 to 50% of all the Fortune 500 companies have their security by one Israeli company, one Israeli military intelligence company, Radware and Rad Group. You are penetrated, America. The biggest espionage operation by the Russians is not Donald Trump. It's clearly Israel and Russia penetrating via the critical infrastructure, penetrating into CEOs and dragging, as Henry Kissinger sent American industry, heavy industry and manufacturing to Asia in his little pet projects. Well, they're doing the same with high technology. I don't know how to give it the gravity because I can see your dead eyes. You're like this. If I told you a bioweapon, because it's exciting in Hollywood, you're primed for that. But I don't know how to tell you exactly what happens when a flick of a switch and everything goes down. COVID will look like a fucking cakewalk. It will be instant Armageddon and instant martial law, Abrams main battle tanks on the streets of New York. Overnight. That's what's coming. Control of food distribution and production, water, you name it. Every critical thing we need in our lives, from energy to food, water, pencils, paper, will be under the control of a centralized system. That is what they're aiming for. Will they get it? Let's see. So we could go through every one. FBI issues warning on Ragnarok ransomware, over 50 critical infrastructure entities compromised. The Senate approves historic cyber incident reporting bill sent to Biden's desk. Do you see how Israel's been getting away with this? And they've taken over the entire United States. How We only have to focus on one company, Zohar Zisapel and Red Group. Link below, Red Group. They run just about everything, and you didn't know that. And Americans are sitting there going, we're America. You mean to say our critical infrastructure is in the hands of a hostile foreign country? Yes, that is correct. That's filled with Russian GRU and SVU assets. Fuck you, America. Ha, ha, ha. You just got punked by uranium drop-off in a 40-year-old operation, penetrating the United States via Israel. If you understand what you just watched then, the espionage, the penetration, the deep sleeper cells, it's literally 1,000 times worse. I'm saying literally 1,000 times worse. They're completely in the open. Right in your critical infrastructure, Rad Group, Zohar Zisapel. One example, we tried to get his name out there, forget it, couldn't get it out there. Runs half of the US critical infrastructure, electrical grids, all the companies, the police databases, Homeland Security, all Israeli. All of it. America, you are in deep, deep trouble. You don't have to be told that. With all this talk about 15-minute cities, how will their initial implementation unfold? Well, let's start with reducing the number of cars over the coming 10 years before we get to the more radical methods. If you didn't know, the car loan industry is hitting new default highs and few are buying the wanted prices at car auctions. Once the new carbon credit CBDC system comes in, credit for new cars will simply not be given to the average person. That's the start of the UN Habitat Smart Cities implementation in terms of no one owns a car. Remember, you'll own nothing and be happy. I'll leave you with a section of video I made in March of 2018 on the UN Smart Cities program. The mainstream internet is a little behind. They're calling the initial implementation 15-minute cities. This video was named originally back in 2018, Israeli Drones Worldwide. It describes the long history of Israeli espionage against the United States. The relevant part you see here starts at the 11-minute and 50-second mark. Please remember, we can talk all day online, ask you to like and subscribe, buy our merch, and make money while the ship goes down. Sooner or later, you must demand of your internet heroes that they begin to organize politically. And we also have to teach people how they are co-opted, how movements are co-opted, and how high-level billion-dollar companies, manned by former generals who ran NATO, are running private military intelligence operations, employing crisis actors, creating fake news, and infiltrating movements. I applaud anyone who is getting out there on the street. It's wonderful news, but we must be very, very cautious of plants. Planted people, planted groups, planted provocateurs. There are many ways to limit the damage, and in future videos we'll go into this. Just remember, if we keep chatting amongst ourselves, patting each other on the back, cheering for our internet star of choice, and we never move politically, we are doomed. We are sitting and clucking like chickens as the foxes circle the chicken coop, getting ready to move us into the UN Habitat Smart Cities program. You'll own nothing, you'll be happy, you'll be monitored 24 hours a day, 7 days a week by 5G, high-frequency, low-latency internet. Everything will be tracked and traced. Your apartment will be hardwired for 60 gigahertz WiGig internet. It's so powerful, it can track you in your house like a camera. It can even recognize your face. The dangers with technology are great. Technology is also liberating and wonderful. But if we keep clucking like chickens online, nothing is going to change. If not me, who? If not now, when? You have to become your own way and begin organizing locally. Good luck. I give you Israeli Drones Worldwide. The Smart Cities program is being totally run by Israel and is the new cornerstone of their control mechanism.
The Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, heir to the throne, looks like one of those Gorbachev types that come along from time to time, an insider who thinks the regime in which he operates is wholly dysfunctional and needs to be reformed. One concrete ambition is investment of $500 billion in a new futuristic city on the Red Sea coast called Neom.
A place where pioneers and thinkers and doers can exchange ideas and get things done.
The promotional video shows just how different they intend it to be from the stultifying, repressed images we normally see from Saudi.
Stunning nature, mountains, plains, valleys, coasts, coral reefs, islands. Mountains are covered with snow in winter, mild weather in summer, 10 degrees less than the other Gulf cities and capitals. The political will is strong, the popular will and desire is strong. All the elements of success exist to create something great within the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
That's the Crown Prince bin Salman. He's only 32 and he's the recently appointed heir to the Saudi throne, replacing his cousin in the role. He's already impressed President Trump.
With energy that flows from the sun and wind.
One objective is economic, preparing the country for when the world weans itself off oil. It also needs jobs to occupy its youthful population. More than 2/3 of the population is under 30. But another objective is cultural. The country has become a beacon of ultra-conservative Sunni thinking. The Crown Prince made an astonishing admission to The Guardian this week. What happened in the region in the last 30 years is not the Middle East. After the Iranian Revolution in 1979, people wanted to copy this model in different countries. One of them is Saudi Arabia. We didn't know how to deal with it, and the problem spread all over the world. Now is the time to get rid of it.
You remember those compact cities Alex Jones warned us about 15 years ago when he was slightly relevant and slightly objective? Everything is linked, from self-driving cars to power grids to water and food supplies. It's all being run from Israel and every single country is signing on to it. Every country, no exceptions. It's a world takeover, possibly the final phase, the beast system. Someone tell Alex his best friend Bibi is running the show.
Looks like it's talking about that. Her Amazon, so this is her odd Amazon, is connected to shaking. Well, these are pulsed weapons. They shake you. They shake everything. You know, you take a video of water sitting on a bed and you can see it shaking. Shake comes up all over reverse speech connected to these weapons.
February the 14th, 2023. And I said I would wait for the bottle to stop shaking and do the test on my bed. So I did wait for the bottle to stop shaking after I had moved it from the plant stand to my bed. And so now this is what's happening here with no movement of me. But this is dew. This is how bad I'm being hit with dew. Directed energy weaponry. And I'm just going to stop talking and let you all see. This is how bad my bed is trembling. And the perpetrators are vibrating my bed really bad and my body as well. So the device devices that has been non-consensually implanted inside of my left leg, and I'm sure chips throughout my body, is what's getting hit right now. The very leg that I got shot in It's the leg that I feel this sensation all the way up my foot, from my foot up my leg to my tailbone up to my spine and my neck, and then up to my head. This is the vibrating sensation that I feel 24 hours a day.
Here's one that indicates I was so mad one night. I kept tweeting at General Nakasone because he's director of NSA. And when I did reverse speech, I'm like, where is it that I can help our military to get this solved? Where's the lack? And it pointed straight to cyber issues, cyber networks, and all of that kind of stuff. Computer stuff, networks. And so I started tagging him every time, and DOD. And I'm like, I'm just in an attempt to document all of this stuff. So then I got so mad one time because there was a drone and it was like right above me, right there, hitting me. And so I did some reverse speech, and then I tweeted the resulting RS back to them. You know, who exactly is flying that drone I'm hearing hovering outside above this house? And it said the AI sent it, connected to the same type of ilk, connected to youth.
Wow.
Okay, so and it's brought up Masonic before, but remember, these are like, it's also brought up Baal worshipers, Masons, Satanists, Luciferian. They're all working together in this network on an agenda-driven basis, and the hub is in Israel. And the CCP, all of that stuff, those are all proxies for what they're calling the whore AI. This is the whore AI. They all call it the whore. And there's no telling how ancient it is. So let's play this one. Who exactly is it that is flying that drone that I'm hearing outside hovering above this house? And y'all said it has good. And y'all said it has good. And y'all said it has good. It tells humans what to do and they do it. You know, and I'm like, that is ridiculous. You know, good humans are supposed to be in charge down here. Right. It's just ridiculous. Before we move on, I want to kind of mention something to sort of tie this back into this war that's going on. We have deep state players in our military and, you know, just traitors. We have traitors in our country that are in this network. And so something that happened to me that was interesting is only a couple of months after I did a video where I mentioned General Flynn, and I talked about Carlos Slim and the satellites that were hitting humans, General Flynn followed me a couple of months later. And then what was interesting after that is, and then of course all of us got kicked off of Twitter because I consider it an enemy platform. You know, it's these people who are working this depopulation. So most of the cool kids got kicked off Twitter, and but when I was still on there in August of 2019, I think it was, one of my friends on Twitter said, "Hey Tiffany, the DoD biotech head just followed you." And I said, "Really?" I didn't know that guy. But I was like, why is the DoD biotech head following me? And later when I went to the doctor that checked out our diplomats to Cuba who were also assaulted with directed energy weapons and who now have brain damage and whose children are still getting hit, and they are all still getting hit. You know, he was called in by the State Department. I went and saw the same doctor, and he said it was indicated in my case. It wasn't the same as the Cuban diplomat's situation, but that it was indicated. And he said the same thing. He said, well, why is the DoD biotech head following you?
Like a day later, that he blocked me without me having said a word to him. So I don't know what's going on there. That was Vegas Girlness. That was Vegas Girlness. That was Vegas Girlness.
Okay, then this right here, this reversal, the same thing. It said the ALF sent it, connected to it like a youth network of the same ilk, which may be Masonic. This said Sly send the Minerva. So, and that, the Minerva Research Initiative is a massive social engineering initiative run by our Department of Defense. So it's likely that this Minerva is connected to that drone hitting me. Okay, so I'm going to play that one. It says Sly send the Minerva. So that would be those with a deceitful nature sent Minerva connected to what sounded like a hovering drone over our house.
Who exactly is it that is flying that drone that I'm hearing outside hovering above this house? Sly send the Minerva. Sly send the Minerva. Sly send the Minerva.
Now, see, these guys, these are PSYOP, like they learn how to PSYOP in the military, and then they become like defense contractors and make money off of killing people, and they PSYOP you at the same time. So they will tell people they're ETs. That's what they did in my case. And you can hear them because these weapons, it's microwave hearing. They're hitting you with radiation. They're talking through it. There's silent sounds, but there's like over 30 patents for silent subliminal, and that's a lot of what I get. And then there's V2K, which is loud and they scream abusive stuff 24/7 at people. It's very bad. You know, I was trying to find out who these people are, so I was just asking questions and listening, but they were telling me they were ETs. They were not ETs. So but this indicated the torture. So I said, is there a benevolent Kyla? And there are a lot of people that just love ETs. They want ETs to be real, but those are actually what reverse speech describes as aliens. So, and an alien is a body that is interfaced with AI. So they're trying to sell those to us as ETs, but they're actually aliens. And so aliens are bodies, and they are, so they're biomass with nanoparticles and with cyborg stuff, and they're wirelessly hooked to the internet, so they're telepathic too. That's why they're telepathic. It's fake telepathy. It says, "Don't let him hurt me," when I ask if there's a benevolent Kyla.
Is there a benevolent Kyla? Don't have the birthday.
Plain as day.
So
I hear it perfectly.
That indicates the torture. This here indicates they are trying to, it's almost like they're trying to do the flashy memory thing, the MIB thing, so that they can manipulate memory in order to keep people from knowing what they're doing. You know, but they are definitely looking at memory and experimenting on just about everything. Sky's the limit. So send the mob. So this indicated that there was a mob hitting me and that they're affecting my memory with the EMF. Okay, so send the mob, memory shredded.
Is there a benevolent Kyla that is trying to, that is here and involved in this? Send the mob, memory shredded.
It can also indicate that there are things that I don't remember about this because I believe that I was born into it, you know, so there may be repressed memories involved. They're saying they are Nazi. This is one that they're Nazi. The people hitting me, they're considered Nazis.
If they're weaponizing consciousness, how are they getting us to create this crap for them? And in my personal situation, how are they getting me to create it? Because we don't have that information. We don't know what that is. And it's time for that to come on out and be addressed. Either Nazi.
Mm-hmm. Here's Beam is NASA. This indicated NASA and DARPA in my targeting. David Oates found this one. Oh, here's one with David Wilcock that's indicating, see the pulse, these are pulse beams that we're hit with. So when he was talking in his forward speech, and what are the pulse's colors? These are actually targeting weapons that they were responding to. It says Sherlock's assault with a room in it. That means your mind is being assaulted and they're looking through it. Sherlock's assault. So there's biohacking going on. So this is David Will.
And what were the pulse's colors? Sherlock's assault with a woman.
I had a client and her reverse speech was, "We are eyeing ebb that aims machine at us." Now, she only let me keep the reverse speech, so I'm going to have to read the forward. But they were hitting her with some sort of EMF weapon that caused her to see disgusting things, you know, and hear disgusting sounds that nobody else could see or hear. So she says, this is one of my anonymous practitioner course homework clients. She says, "I think they target me and they put weird images in my head and I close my eyes and I see hands getting chopped off and skin getting scraped. The images were just dark, dark, dark." The other thing that also happens, and I can hear 1,000 people talking, and they're not talking light and love. They're attacking each other, being aggressive. There's sexual sounds. There's fighting sound. And I hear everything all at once, and it's just second nature to me right now. And then she says, the reversal is very clear. "We are eyeing ebb that aims machine at us."
We are eyeing ebb that aims machine at us. We are eyeing ebb that aims machine at us. We are eyeing ebb that aims machine at us.
Okay. And then there's another one where she says slides simulate, and then they all come in your beam. So these are beam weapons, and it has some sort of slide in it that is that's beaming the simulation that she's seeing. So it's describing the tech here. Slide, simulate, and then they all come in your beam.
Slides, simulate, and then they all come in your beam.
Okay, then what else do I have here?
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Google. Now, I just found this out right here. I wrote a letter called Human Non-Consensual Experimentation Subjects Need Your Help. Well, Google said that, I found out tonight, Google said that that violates policies. So it won't let me share my letter with the 34 links, research links, annotated links. It won't let me share it anymore, right?
Jeez.
Okay, for non-consensual what would be the reason for that unless you were involved in it? And I believe that they are.
Hard to see the light when everything is right and waiting for it to clear. Think while I'm alive, can't tear up at a time. But hey, I'm still here. It's a bad sometimes I like it when I lose control. There's no